So this is the Voigtlander Bessa L camera that I recently got. Apparently I'm the 9th user. Will there be a 10th? I've been struggling with this camera recently, well actually with the camera itself, but more the lens, because on this camera I've got a 12mm ultra wide lens on it. And it's the sort of format that I've been longing to shoot for years, but never got round to it. But now I've got a 12mm f5.6 ultra wide lens, and I'll tell you what, I've been really struggling with finding compositions in this sort of format, this wide format.
It's not quite fisheye, but it's bloody wide.
So these Bessa series cameras were introduced in 1999, and there's a few other cameras that came after that. I'm not going to go into that in this video. We're going to be talking about the Bessa L. It's a pretty basic camera. It's like a die-cast sort of body with a plastic sort of surround, a plastic back, plastic top, plastic bottom plate. But it feels quality. I'm not going to say it feels cheap. It doesn't. It does feel quality. And the thing with this camera is it's basic. There is no viewfinder. You know, it's here. This is my viewfinder for this lens. It's got shutter speeds of 1 second to 2,000th of a second, and of course a bulb mode as well. It's got a timer. It's got a light meter inside with speeds from 25 ISO to 1600 ISO, so plenty to play with there. And you've got these 3 little LEDs for your metering, so the normal sort of red arrow either side of a green dot. Once you've got the green dot, you've got your metering. It's very, very basic, but what a joy to shoot. I can imagine this, I've already shot this camera out on the street, and it's been a joy to shoot on the street, nice and light. It weighs about, with this lens and this viewfinder on top, around about just over 500 grams. I've already weighed it. So it's been quite a joy to shoot. I'll show you some of the images that I've got so far, what I've been sort of practicing with, and that is what I'm doing at the moment, is practicing with this lens to see how it's going to fit into any of my photography. And today I've come down to the beach to do some photographs down here. I've also got another lens that I'm going to compare it with, which is in my bag here, a 25mm lens. There it is there. And if I put this 25mm lens on this camera, I then have to change the viewfinder, which I've got inside this little box of Phoenix. I'm not shooting Phoenix colour, by the way. Inside this, there it is, little tiny 25mm viewfinder. So I've got to change the viewfinder over for the lens. I don't have to use a viewfinder. Many shots I've taken, I haven't even looked through because I've been shooting from the hip and sort of judging my focusing, my composition, sorry. But so far, I've really been enjoying shooting this camera. There's no focusing either. You've got to do your distance focusing from the lens. So if you're doing zone focusing or you're using the distance scale on the lens, that's how you do the focusing. And inside at the moment, I've got a roll of T-Max 400, and that's what I'm going to be shooting today. A mixture of this lens and also the 25. So we can see the differences between an ultra wide shot and also a 25mm shot as well. And the thing with this lens, they call it a rectilinear lens. I mean, I've had to geek all this stuff up and learn a little bit about it. It's called a rectilinear lens. So basically, which means there's no distortion kind of central of my frame. So if I'm taking a picture out there of the horizon should be nice and straight, unlike a fisheye where it'll be sort of arced. But with this lens, you do get some distortion around the edges. That's just the nature of the beast with this particular lens, but I don't mind that. It is what it is. It's, you know, it's like pinhole photography. You accept pinhole for what it is, although this isn't nowhere near as wide as pinhole. And I am used to pinhole, but not 12 pinhole super wide. You know, I'm used to that, but this one's a little bit different. So I'm going to find some compositions, guys, around this beach. I'll show you what I'm shooting, and I'll show you what the results are from using this ultra wide lens. So my first composition, I'm going to work on this log. Let's see what I can get with this, get low down. And what I'm finding, obviously, you know, because this is wide, this lens, if I shoot a landscape and there's nothing in it, in other words, just a field and a sky and an horizon, it just looks bland. You've got to try and find something that's going to bring the foreground real nice and close, something in the foreground that it's going to bounce off of, you know, something that's going to enhance the photograph. So that's what I'm doing here with this log. Going to get nice and close and get all the background in the shot as well. At least I've got this log sort of really coming close into the frame. See how that works. It's so wide, and I can see exactly what's going on through this viewfinder. This viewfinder is calibrated to this lens, so pretty much what I see through the viewfinder is what I'm seeing through the lens, even though it's not looking through the lens, if that makes sense. Taken through the viewfinder, I've hurt my neck. Through the viewfinder, the horizon It's a little bit arched, you know, a little bit arced, but it won't be through the lens. So this time we'll take a similar shot. I'm not going to look through the viewfinder this time. I'm just going to come nice and low down on these stones. I'll get a few twigs out of the way. So the stones are right in the foreground of the image, leading off to the horizon. So I'm just going to literally come down, not even looking through the viewfinder, set my metering, set my focus distance. I'm going to go about 3 feet, so we've got the stones. And I can guarantee that the edges will be a bit distorted, but the middle will be nice. So see how this comes out. Nice wide shot. Wait for the sea to come up a little bit. Done. And I'm going to take one more coming down here where the water's edge is. I've got 25 shots to play with, so that's good. Done. Let's move on. And in a short while, I'll swap over to the 25mm and I'll do the same shot with a 12mm and the same shot with a 25mm so you guys can see the difference between the two, but not quite yet. I want to try and get some shots with this 12mm first. That's quite nice. We've got a log here, look at this. Whee! I've got some sensible clobber on as well for once. Look at this, I've got some waterproof boots. How about that? I've got this log here, see if we can... So I can look through the viewfinder and see I've got all that log in if I come back about here. About 5 feet I'm going to focus on. Come back a bit. 5 feet, that should be fine at near enough f16. Done. I might have to do a little bit of straightening in post or in the darkroom if I want to make these prints, because shooting from the hip I can never get my horizon straight. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Again, another nice perspective. See if I can get through this boat here. Looking right out to the sea. A couple of boats, a nice sky, a little bit of the beach. I need to make sure my horizon is visible so the boat's not hiding the horizon. And we'll choose a distance this time. We'll go to, I'll go to 5 feet again. Done. I'm using this as some sort of leading line into my frame. Real simple stuff. First time I tried this lens, I've got my blooming finger in front of it. This time I'm not going to worry about the horizon, I'm going to let the boat cover that. Try that. So I'm about 2 feet away from that log and I'm pointing. That's a good look, mate. So I'm about 2 feet away from the log and I'm literally pointing out towards the cliffs there. Let's take this shot. Man going in the water. Okay. So this time I'm going to take 2 shots, one with the ultra wide 12mm and one with the 20mm on this scene here. The figures I've got to be careful of is this, see this post here, if I have that post in the bottom right of my frame, it will be distorted. So if I don't want any distortion, I kind of got to be aware of that. But I'll take the shot anyway. Wait, shit. So that's one shot with that post in the way. I'm now going to go forward past that post to try and eliminate, oh bloody hell, eliminate the distortion. I know it's all right, I've got waterproof boots on apparently. Ah! Oh, you! What is going on? Stop. I need wellies. Gotcha. Let's put that 25mm lens on. And this time I can get that front log in, there won't be any distortion. Christ, the tight's come right in now. I'm going to set the lens to infinite and take the same shot as before. There it goes. We'll take one more where I was a bit more forward. Ah, look at my boots. Done. See how they come out. That's the first time I've used this 25mm lens, so, but obviously it's not going to be as wide as the 12mm. So going back on the 25mm, this time I'm going to focus on, now this is in meters, this one, not feet. So about a metre away. We'll focus on about a metre away. I'm not looking through the viewfinder. Just come down and see how this handles the composition on all the edges. Wait for the water, that'll do. And I'll do the same now with the 12mm lens. I need one of those flak jackets so I can just quickly access my gear. And although I've kept the 25mm viewfinder on, I'm not going to use it, I'm just shooting from the hip, so I don't need to use the viewfinder. I'll take the same shot. And one of the things with this camera is fully mechanical. Doesn't need any batteries to run, only the light meter it needs 2 LR44 batteries for. And it's a little bit like some of the Nikons, I think the FMs, the FM3A, you've got to have the lever out slightly for the meter or the camera to work. Otherwise it won't work if you close it down, which is not too bad, just sometimes it can dig in your head a little bit, but it's no biggie. So that's me done with the 25mm. I'm going to carry on shooting the 12mm because that's the one I want to practice with. And I'll show you guys some of the photographs that I get along the way. So I shot the rest of the roll and here are a few of the photographs. To start off with this chair. With this chair I was about 3 feet away and the wide view just looks amazing with the woodwork coming in on the right of the frame and all that decking kind of leading towards the chair. But what amazes me how straight the horizons are with this lens. It's not curved, they're literally straight. And this photo here, notice the distortion on the left hand side on that near post. Now I knew that that would distort if I got that close. So what I did, I just moved forward a little bit and took another photograph and this is how it turned out. And as you can see, it looks a lot better. And this beach telescope that I stumbled across, I was only 1 feet away from it. I dialed in 1 feet on the lens and I think the perspective of these photographs are pretty unique. You can see how much of the beach I've got in there as well, with the telescope being sort of massive in your face and the whole beach in the background. I think it looks amazing. And with this photograph, there's nothing in the foreground leading towards the subject, which was that bloke who went out for a swim. So I think these wider views don't really float my boat as much as the others where I've got something big in the foreground, but it still looks nice, but it just looks, I don't know, I like it, but it just looks a little bit empty for that wideness, if that makes sense. And then also the other day I went into a church. This was a different roll of film and I think this looks interesting. So maybe, you know, this lens could lend itself to some sort of quirky architectural photography, especially when you've got pillars and posts like inside a church. And I found this one interesting. I'm not quite a fan of this sort of fisheye look, but I noticed how it did turn out that way with this photograph. And I don't know how far I was away from that church, maybe 10 meters away or something, but look at the distortion around the edges. Look at that lady sitting in the chair, look how distorted that is. So that one really did interest me with this lens, but again, these sort of photographs I wouldn't be taking with this lens, not really my cup of tea. But I did want to try a portrait, and I took this photograph of my daughter Jess. She was just leaning outside of my darkroom, and I took the photograph, and you can see on the left hand side her right arm is where the tattoo is kind of elongated, sort of coming out of the frame. But I do think this lens does lend itself to some quirky portraiture. That's something I might have to investigate and look into in the future, but I do think it's got its place for portraits. This one's not too flattering, but she does actually like it. But me personally, I think it's yeah, anyway, let's move on. And my last photograph I'll show you guys is this tractor in a barn. Again, notice on the left hand side, look at that spare tractor wheel. It's kind of yeah, again, distorted. So it's interesting to play around with this lens and see what you can get and what it does and where it can fit into your photography. Before I go, I've got to say a massive thank you to Robert for sending me this film case. Look at that. It takes all them rolls. How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 rolls of film it takes. Look, big old case. It's not something that I would take out with me every day because I don't shoot that many, but it's nice to store some films in there, put it in the fridge, or if I'm going away, stick that in my case, and it keeps all my films protected. So Robert, if you're watching, mate, thank you so much for sending me this. I really do appreciate it. And it's a JJC film case if you're interested, guys. But proper quality as well. I can put my 120s in there. You can see I've got my 120s in there and some 35mm films as well. So Robert, if you're watching, thank you very much. But yeah, what a fun camera to shoot this is. It's very light. It's only with the viewfinder and the lens on there, it just weighs over 500 grams, which is pretty light for this sort of camera. Running around the streets with or whatever, it's no problem at all. It feels light in the hand as well. And if you do get one of these, you'll have to look. There's a whole array of lenses. This Bessa L series is takes the Leica M39 screw fit mount. There's plenty of those about with different brands, cheaper brands as well. You'd have to get the Leica ones. But if you do and you really want to get accurate, make sure you get the viewfinder on top as well, because without the viewfinder you're literally kind of just pointing and shooting, and as you saw in a few of my photographs there was a little bit on the wonk, but hey, practice makes perfect. And if you're wondering why I've got a little bit of tape there, it's because the it doesn't quite fit snug, the viewfinder on top, so I've just put a little bit of tape on there. It's not a hot shoe, it's a cold shoe, so I put a little bit of tape on there to make that feel a little bit snug. But as for the lens, this little tiny 12mm lens, it's certainly going to open up a whole new avenue for my photography, and also finding, there it is without the lens, and also, you know, finding where this lens is going to suit my sort of style of photography on the street or escapes or whatever. And I just think only over time I'll be sort of, you know, morphing into using this lens more and seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like, seeing how it works and seeing where it doesn't work. So it certainly does bring a different element to your photography with one of these wider lens, and this is 12mm lens. I don't think I'd go wider. I don't think I'd fancy the full fisheye sort of 8mm, you know, lenses. I think they'd be a little bit too much. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll let you know how I get on with the 12mm lens, no doubt in another video or even on the website. Go on the website, the SFLaB website. I've put some information on there about this camera and other Bessas as well as the photographs that I've already taken with it. Let us know in the comments if any of you have got any of these cameras, what lenses you've got for them. Have you got a 12mm or even a 15mm lens? Let us know what sort of photography you shoot with those lenses and how you get on with it. Do you like it? Thanks very much for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next time.